You know that feeling when you're standing in front of the mirror, looking at your reflection, and you're wondering, did I make the right call? Like you know you did. Deep down, you absolutely know. But there's this little voice in the back of your head that won't shut up. That's been me for the past few weeks. My name doesn't matter too much for this story, but what does matter is that I'm about to tell you about one of the most confusing, guilt-racked, frustrating decisions I've ever had to make as a bride. And honestly, it still keeps me up at night sometimes. Let me take you back to where this all started. Because to understand why I'm feeling this way, you need to understand what I've been building. You need to understand what this wedding means to me. So I'm Olivia. I'm 29 years old, and as of right now, I'm engaged to the love of my life. We're getting married this December. And it's not just any wedding. It's a Christmas-themed winter wonderland wedding. Think snow, think sparkle, think everything magical. But here's the thing that not a lot of people know about this wedding. I've been dreaming about it since 2021. That's right. 4 years. 4 years of planning, dreaming, saving, and visualizing exactly what I wanted my special day to look like. My fiancé and I made this decision early on. We didn't want money from our parents. We didn't want loans. We didn't want to be tied to anyone else's expectations or strings. No, we wanted to do this ourselves. Just us. We wanted to pay for the entire thing ourselves and have complete creative control. And that meant we had to make sacrifices. We had to work hard, really hard. We budgeted, we saved. We skipped vacations some years. We said no to things we wanted because we were saying yes to this dream. And let me tell you, it was worth it. Because now, 4 years later, I'm not just planning a wedding. I'm building something that's entirely ours. A winter wonderland that's going to be perfect. That's going to be exactly what we envisioned. The color palette, soft pastels mixed with winter shades, whites, silvers, pale blues, icy greens, everything cohesive, everything coordinated, everything that screams magical winter wedding. The bridesmaids' dresses, they're custom made in these soft, muted tones that complement each other and the overall theme. My maid of honor is in a pale silver. My other bridesmaids are in soft blues and creams. It's stunning when you see them all together. And you know what else? I've actually tried really hard to be an accommodating bride. I know the whole Bridezilla stereotype is a thing, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't that person. So I made it a point to make my bridesmaids feel beautiful and seen. One of my bridesmaids, Lisa, is pregnant. She's going to be showing by the time of the wedding. And you know what I told her? I said, Lisa, you need to get a dress that highlights that bump. No shame, no covering up. I want you to feel absolutely beautiful on my wedding day. Because that's who I am as a person and as a bride. Another bridesmaid, Mara, has tattoos that she absolutely loves. And instead of asking her to cover them up, I said, show them off. Just maybe keep the dress from being too revealing because of the winter theme. But your ink? That's part of who you are. Wear it proudly. And then there's my friend Zelda. Her dog, this beautiful Samoyed named Citrus, is actually going to be part of the wedding. He's the ring bearer. My nephew is riding in a little sled that Citrus is going to pull down the aisle. And once they reach us, my nephew hops off, hands the ring to Citrus, and Citrus delivers it to us. It's adorable. It's fun. It's magical. So yeah, I've really gone out of my way to make this wedding inclusive and beautiful for everyone. Not just for me, for all of us. Which is why what happened next hit so much harder than it probably should have. Let me tell you about my friend Shayish. Shayish has been one of my closest friends for years. We've had this running joke since we were younger. We've always talked about being bridesmaids in each other's weddings. It was never a question of if, it was always when. This was something we dreamed about together. So when I got engaged, one of the first people I asked to be a bridesmaid was Shayish. And she was thrilled. She said yes immediately. She was so excited to be part of this day. And I remember, when I was telling all my bridesmaids about the vision for the wedding, I brought up something that I thought was important. I said, okay ladies, here's what I need from you. My color palette is very specific. It's soft pastels and winter shades. That's the theme. That's the aesthetic. So here's what I'm asking. If you're thinking about changing your hair or doing something drastic, just give me a heads up first. And I was really clear about this. I said, if you want to dye your hair a bright neon color, like a hot pink or an electric blue or something that's going to completely clash with the winter theme, I'm not going to tell you not to do it. Live your life. Do what makes you happy. But all I'm asking is that you wear a wig for the wedding day, just for the day. That way, we all look cohesive in the photos, and you still get to have fun hair the rest of the year. It's a compromise, right? And you know what? Every single one of my bridesmaids understood. Every single one. They all agreed. Yeah, totally. That makes sense. We get it. This is your vision, and we're here to support you. Shayish nodded along with everyone else. She said she understood. No problem, so I let it go. I thought we were all on the same page, and then it happened. I'm scrolling through Instagram one day, just minding my own business, and I see a post from Shayish. She's dyed her hair, but not just dyed it. I mean, she went all in. Think highlighter green, think neon. Think the brightest, most electric shade of green you've ever seen in your entire life. Not emerald, not sage, not matcha, not forest green. Not any of those muted, sophisticated shades of green that could have, and probably would have, worked beautifully with the winter theme. No, neon, highlighter, electric green. And I felt my stomach drop. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I physically felt something shift in my chest, because in that moment I knew there was going to be a conversation, and I didn't want to have it, but I had to. I called her. I remember this so clearly. I was standing in my kitchen, phone in hand, and I was trying to figure out how to word this without sounding like a complete and utter Bridezilla. She answered on the second ring, and I took a breath. And I said, "Hey, I saw your new hair. It's very green." There was this pause, and I could already sense the defensive energy coming through the phone. "Yeah," she said. "I dyed it. Do you like it?" And I'm trying to be diplomatic here, right? I'm trying to be gentle, because she's my friend, my close friend, and I don't want to hurt her feelings. So I said, "Look, it's a really cool color. You look great, but I'm wondering, is there any chance you'd be open to wearing a wig for the wedding, just for the day? A wig in your natural hair color or something that matches the winter theme? Because this color is really bright, and it's going to completely clash with everything we've been building. We've got soft pastels, winter whites, icy blues, and this neon green. It's just going to pull focus away from the whole aesthetic we've been working toward." I'm being nice about it, right? I'm explaining. I'm not attacking her. I'm just laying out the situation. And that's when her tone changed. "Why are you scared of the color green or something?" she snapped, and I'm like, "No, that's not what this is about. That's not it at all." So I tried to explain again. I said, No, it's not that I don't like the color green. I literally told you all that emerald green, sage green, forest green, matcha green. Any of those would have been fine. Beautiful even. But this specific shade, this neon, electric, highlighter green, it just doesn't work with the theme. It clashes, and I'm asking you, as my friend and as my bridesmaid, to please consider wearing a wig for just one day. And you know what she said? She flat out refused. She said no. Not, "Let me think about it." Not, "I'll consider it." Not, "Maybe we can find a compromise." Just, no. And I felt something shift inside me. Because this wasn't just about a hair color anymore. This was about respect. This was about listening. This was about a boundary that I had set 4 years ago, that I had explained clearly to all my bridesmaids, that she had agreed to, and she was ignoring it. I told her, with a lot of regret in my voice, that I was going to have to ask her to step down as a bridesmaid. She could still come to the wedding. She was still invited. She'd still get to celebrate with us, but she wouldn't be standing up with me anymore. And that's when she lost it. She absolutely blew up. She started calling me names. She said I was a bridezilla. She said I was a B word. I'm not even going to repeat it. And then she said something that really, really stuck with me. She said, "Your fiancé is lucky he's marrying you before he finds someone better." Like, what? What does that even mean? That was such a low blow. And I remember thinking in that moment, is this person really my close friend? Because a real close friend wouldn't say something like that to you. But she did. And I hung up the phone. And I didn't know if I'd made the right decision or the biggest mistake of my life. Because here's the thing that's been eating at me ever since. I genuinely care about this friendship. Shayish and I have been friends for years, and we've always talked about being in each other's weddings. This wasn't just some bridesmaid role I handed out casually. This was something we both wanted, something we both valued, and the fact that I had to take that away from her, that's been sitting with me. Hard, more vulnerable. I've been replaying the situation in my head over and over again, and I keep asking myself the same question. Did I overreact? Like, at the end of the day, it's just hair, right? It's just a color. It's not like she was showing up drunk. It's not like she was doing anything morally wrong. She just dyed her hair a color that didn't match my aesthetic vision, and I made her step down as a bridesmaid over it. But then I remember. She knew about my request. I told all my bridesmaids 4 years ago, 4 years, that if they wanted to dye their hair neon bright colors, all I asked is that they wear a wig for the day. She agreed. She said she understood, and then she did it anyway. Which to me says something. It says she either forgot about the conversation, which seems unlikely, honestly, or she deliberately chose to ignore my boundary. And if it's the second one, that's a choice she made. That's a conscious decision to go against what I asked for. And look, I'm not trying to be a dictator here. I'm not trying to control my bridesmaids' lives. I want them to be themselves. I want them to feel beautiful and seen, and like they can express themselves. But there's a difference between being accommodating and letting people walk all over you. There's a difference between being a cool bride and being a bride who has no say in her own wedding. And what really got me, is that when I asked her to compromise, she refused. She didn't say, "Okay, I'll wear a wig for the day." She didn't say, "Can we find a middle ground?" She just shut me down and refused. And then when I had to make the hard choice and ask her to step down, she attacked me personally. She called me names. She insulted me and my fiancé. She made it personal in a way that felt really unnecessary. So am I guilty? Yeah, I am. I'm guilty about losing a friendship over this. I'm guilty about not being able to have a bridesmaid who I've known for years standing up with me. I'm guilty about the hurt I obviously caused her. But am I wrong? No. I don't think I am. Because here's what I've realized through all of this. Sometimes being a good person doesn't mean being a doormat. Sometimes it means setting boundaries and sticking to them, even when it's hard, even when it costs you something. I've had a lot of time to think about this, and I've talked to people I trust about it, and you know what they've all told me? They've told me that I did the right thing. And not just because I had every right to expect my bridesmaids to respect the boundaries I set, but because of how she responded when I tried to compromise, because of the personal attacks, because of the refusal to even try to meet me halfway. One of my friends said something to me that really stuck. She said, a real friend would have been like, "Okay, I love my new hair, but I also love you and your wedding. So let me wear a wig for the day." A real friend would have found a way to make it work. And she's right. A real friend would have. But Shayish didn't do that. She dug in. She refused to compromise. And when I made a boundary-setting decision, she attacked me for it. That says something, and I have to sit with that. Look, I've been planning this wedding for 4 years. I've been saving and sacrificing and working my butt off to make this dream come true. And I wanted to do it in a way that was beautiful and cohesive and magical for everyone involved. Is that too much to ask? I don't think so. And I'm not going to apologize for having standards. I'm not going to apologize for expecting my bridesmaids, my close friends who I've known for years, to respect the reasonable boundaries I set. The thing that really bothers me, though, is wondering if this friendship can ever recover from this, because even if she apologizes tomorrow, even if she says she's sorry and that I was right, something has shifted between us, and I don't know if that can ever be the same, and that makes me sad. That genuinely makes me sad, because I didn't want this to happen. I didn't wake up one day and think, you know what? I'm going to blow up my friendship with Shayish over a hair color. That wasn't the plan, but sometimes life doesn't go according to plan. You know what I keep picturing? I keep picturing my wedding day, December, snow falling outside. Everything covered in this soft, magical blanket of white. I'm standing at the altar, and my bridesmaids are lined up next to me, all in their beautiful, cohesive, coordinated dresses, all looking like they stepped out of a winter wonderland. And I'm looking at them, at these women who mean something to me, who have stood by me, and I'm feeling this overwhelming sense of joy and gratitude. In my dream, Shayish is there. She's in her dress, Her hair is either its natural color or she's wearing a wig, and she looks beautiful. And when I look at her, I feel nothing but love and happiness that she's there. But I don't know if that's what's going to happen anymore. Because there's this big question mark where Shayish used to be. This absence. This reminder of what happened, and I have to decide. Is that okay with me? Can I look back on my wedding day, the day I've been dreaming about for 4 years, and feel that joy if there's also this grief, this guilt, this knowledge of a friendship that I lost? But here's the thing I keep coming back to. I can't control her choices. I can only control mine. She chose to dye her hair a color that she knew I had concerns about. She chose to refuse my compromise. She chose to attack me personally when I had to make a hard decision. Those were all her choices. All I did was set a boundary. And I stuck to it. And I think that's something I can be proud of, even if it hurts. So where does that leave me? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if Shayish and I will ever recover from this. I don't know if she'll apologize or if I'll eventually reach out or if this friendship is just done. What I do know is that I made a decision based on my values and my boundaries. And as much as it hurts, I think that's the right call. Because at the end of the day, this is my wedding. It's my day to celebrate with the people I love most in the world, and I deserve to have that day without compromising on things that matter to me. Is that being a bridezilla? I don't think so. I think that's just being a bride who knows what she wants and who isn't afraid to ask for it. Will I feel guilty about this for a while? Probably. That's just who I am as a person. I feel things deeply. But will I regret my decision? No, I don't think I will. Because a real friend, a true friend, and would have understood. And would have met me halfway. And that's all I asked for.